Alright guys, TacticalRab again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. The CDL has confirmed the full schedule and format for the upcoming 2024 season. Some stuff in here we knew, some stuff that we didn't. The game mode, that's a big one. Control will be the third mode this year, not capture the flag, at the very least as it stands. Some concern as well, there may be only 8 teams at majors this year, and also the points differentials. More points for LAN, relatively less online, but with more online qualifiers. Does this actually mean anything has changed? Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Let's dive straight into the game modes. This was actually going to be today's second video anyway, but I thought, you know what? Let's just make one on all the changes the CDL has confirmed. Well, some things we knew, some things we didn't. This is, according to Charlie Intel yesterday, all the list of multiplayer modes launching with the game. That 3v3v3 cutthroat mode that we saw in the beta, TDM, Dom, Search and Destroy, Kill Confirmed, Freefall, the usual suspect. Hardpoint is here, Control is here, War is here. This is the game mode, somewhat similar to Domination. There's 5 flags spread out across the middle of the map. Capture all 5 from your side to their side, you win. And it was called Momentum back in Advanced Warfare. It's a game mode that might be okay, it probably wouldn't be, and frankly it's too similar to Dom for my liking. Gun Game, Ground War, Invasion, Hardcore, etc, etc. No, noted though, Capture the Flag. Confusing I would say, because this new title is, okay, it's not a reskin of MW2 2009, but it's quite similar and it literally has every single map from MW2 2009. So, Capture the Flag was one of the biggest, most popular game modes back then, especially on the competitive side, but yet Control is here, no CTF. The risk is, if you're a pro and you want to play Capture the Flag, the first matches are at the start of December. We got that confirmed today. Opening weekend, December the 8th is the first set of games, and we know all the games, these qualifiers on the season. We'll see some of them here in a few minutes' time. After the game launches on November the 10th, there is pretty much a week, maybe 2 weeks, for the teams, the players, to figure out what the rule set's going to be for the CDL to put together rule set version 1.0 for the season. No CTF means it will not be in that initial rule set. Whatever they do, let's say they hate Control and it plays horribly, they will do 3 hardpoints, 2 searches, because CTF isn't an option, okay? Maybe, I mean, they're not going to do Dom, so let's not even discuss it. So, you know, if CTF isn't a thing, what can they do? And the problem is that if CTF even is added at some point, maybe there's issues with spawns, maybe it takes some fixing, and sure, maybe Capture the Flag arrives in December, January, and is a plausible game mode for the second half of the season. We do see changes to the map set over time. Maps go in, maps go out, but changing an entire third mode mid-season, that doesn't really happen. I mean, back in the Black Ops 3 days, we used to play Hardpoint, Search, Uplink, Capture the Flag, and then another Search. Same in Advanced Warfare as well. So, you know, back in the day, we played a load of game modes. Maybe if CTF is so much better than Control this year, the pros can do that mid-season, but it's not launching with the game, and therefore the CDL are left with no choice but to choose Control as the third game mode again. We know full well the players didn't like it last year. Octane said that they tried to get rid of it, but eventually it was decided, all right, we're going to keep Control. Not really a massive fan favourite. The pros don't really like it either. Many would like to see something else but Control, but if Sledgehammer can't put Capture the Flag in the game at launch, the pros really have no other option, and therefore the CDL really has no other option either. Frustrating, because I'd have liked to see something different, or at least see how CTF went, just to see if it could work, because I'm hopeful that it would have done, but if it's not in the game, then what can you really do? So Hardpoint, Search, Control, as I say, I wouldn't say this is absolutely necessarily finalised and set in stone. It will be for the start of the season, but you can well imagine after Major 1, a bit of a break, maybe if CTF's in the game by then, the pros could make a change. It's possible the pros make voting on what maps they want, so it's possible, but it's very unlikely right now that we see CTF at all go on this season. Now, let's talk about the rest of the things the CDL confirmed. In this video here, we are so back for what could be the final year, we'll see, right? But anyway, they do the announcement video going through where the majors are going to be. This is the new logo as well, because you guys know they've updated the Call of Duty logo. Don't know why. I don't know how much money someone got paid to redo it. You guys know the drill. And so now this is the new Call of Duty League logo, which is, I don't know, I mean, it's not really much different, is it? Let's be honest, but it's maybe not quite as nice as the previous one. So, these are the majors. The first weekend of matches, December the 8th. 2 weeks of qualifiers before Christmas, then 3 weeks of qualifiers after Christmas, then the LAN in Boston again in the cold of winter. Hopefully there's no storm this time. We shall see. It's going to be chilly regardless. That's confirmed. Major 2, Miami, as expected, February the 16th here, so a couple of weeks off after the major before the qualifiers begin again. Then end of March, that's when the LAN tournament happens. They're in Miami. Exciting stuff to see a Miami event for sure. Major 3 is Toronto. So again in May, pretty similar time to last year, but of course it was the final major last year. This time there's still one more to go with only 4 majors this year. And as we discussed earlier today, it is indeed Carolina. Can you believe it? They actually have magicked some money up from somewhere. And after years of not hosting anything in London, they're now doing one in Charlotte. So, you know, whatever. I talked about my frustrations on this earlier today. These are the dates, June 20th, June 23rd. Keep in mind, still a 4-day tournament, right? 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd. Still Thursday through Sunday. There were some rumours a few days ago that it might be only a 3-day event, which would align with one of the rumours we saw here in a second, which has thankfully, I think, now been shot down. So far, they haven't said when Champs is going to be or where Champs is going to be. They usually announce that way into the season, and they didn't even try and pretend that they knew, because usually they'll put Champs to be determined or whatever. They didn't even bother with that. So, yeah, we think it's going to be Dallas. We talked about it earlier today. That's the current rumour, but it's always subject to change, and they don't need to confirm that immediately. Would be nice if they did, so people could plan ahead, but you know how it is at the moment. So a few other key things. We knew most of this already, but the extent of the online qualifiers is a big deal. Unfortunately, one less LAN, but there is still a lot of COD to be played. This is the situation with the qualifiers. We used to have 3 weeks of qualifiers. We are going to have potentially 4, if not 5 weeks of qualifiers. So Major 1 and Major 4, there's 4 weeks of qualifiers there. Each team plays 7 matches. I'm guessing there's quite a few matches across those weekends. Major 2, Major 3, 5 weeks of qualifiers. So I guess less matches, but the same amount of qualifiers. I don't know exactly how they're going to fit it into those weekends, but whatever. That's their plan, and quite a lot of games to play over those weekends. So every team last year had 5 qualifiers. Now they have 7, which is cool. More COD, I guess, but when you're stretching that over 5 weeks, you know, you're playing 7 games over 5 weeks, 7 over 4 weeks, so sure, I mean, you're playing almost 2 a weekends. 7 over 5 weeks is, yeah, it's a bit of a stretch to keep people's interest, I think, for that amount of time, and they could have come out and tried to explain exactly why they've done this. And I mean, there was an article from Deserto that kind of said, oh, you know, it's for various reasons. They didn't really try and give reasoning. They just said, this is how it's going to be, and we're not given any reasoning for it. Now, the qualifiers have 10 points still per win, as they did previously, but there will be a shift in CDL points to the majors to try and compensate for the offset we saw last year. And this is how it is shaping out right now. So major tournament CDL points breakdown. First, we'll go from 65 points up to 100 points. Now, this is good. This should have been the case last year. But the funny thing is that they've done this, and it's good what they've done, but it works great for last year's format. This year's format, we've got 7 online qualifiers, and we've got less majors. So in terms of percentage of total points on the season from LAN, it's actually very similar to last year. It's slightly better. I think more LAN waiting was definitely necessary. And the idea that you can be 95 points behind qualifying for champs, and yet you can still technically go into the final event with a chance to qualify if you win it and get 100 points, that's good in general. So it used to be 0 points for last place, then 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 65. Now it's 100 for the winner, so that's plus 35, 75, 60, 45, 30, 15 and 0. So it's definitely better, but think about this. Let's say you win all 7 qualifiers, you go 7-0. That's still 70 points, which is basically the same as coming second at a major. Last year, you could win all 5 of your qualifier matches. That's 50 points. That was exactly the same as getting second at a major. So it's actually quite similar, really, because we've got 1 less LAN and we've got more online qualifiers per LAN. So if you do the percentages, it's a bit better, but it's actually quite similar. If these were the numbers, but only 5 qualifiers, then sure, you actually are definitely increasing the importance of LAN. But when you look at the overall season standings at the end of the year, and you tally up which points are from LAN, which points are online, and you do an overall percentage, you will get a pretty similar percentage to this most recent year. It will be more favourable towards LAN, which is good, but yeah, I like what they've done, but they could have adjusted for the fact that there's 7 online qualifiers rather than 5 as there previously was, as far as I'm concerned. Now, Jake Hale noticed this, which appeared on the website, and I can't believe that, I mean, every year there's something on the website that goes wrong, and I just don't understand why they can't just proofread it to make sure that it's fine. Because last year, this copy appeared on the website when the season was launching, and people were like, what do you mean? This is surely not going to be the case. Tell us it's not true. And they said, oh, yeah, sorry guys, that was a mistake. And somehow it appeared again this year, because there was this piece on the website, which is now gone, by the way. Teams seeding into the majors will be determined by head-to-head group play matches held online over the course of 4 or 5 qualifying weeks. True, leading up to each major. These qualifying weeks are crucial because at the end, only the top 8 seeds will advance to compete to the major. This is the thing that they told us before, and I don't know who came up with this idea to only have 8 teams at each major. It's not a good idea, especially if the home team isn't there. The current format is fine. We just want more majors. You know, what we currently have is good. It's just, we wish there's more events. It is what it is. There's reasons why there aren't more events. They aren't cheap to run. We know that full well. But look, at least we're getting some this year again, and the league actually still exists for the time being. But yeah, this was eventually gone. So thankfully, I don't think that's the case, hopefully, but still, 8 teams will make champs, as is usually the case in the previous couple of seasons. Now, in addition to all this, all of the matches are now visible on the website. So if you guys want to check out who your favorite team is playing and when, you can go and look at this. So the kickoff day, December the 8th, is like this. Atlanta FaZe Boston Breach is the first game of the season. Pretty spicy game, really, right? I mean, you know, I'm not saying it's rigged, but they've chosen one with a storyline at the very least, because they've got Slasher, recently gone to Boston. He's now playing FaZe. It's the Boston home series. Exciting stuff. So I guess I'll just kind of scroll through everything here to close out some interesting ones. I did hear about the Carolina have a bit of a rough time, actually, because, yeah, let's look into January here. So actually, no, it's Vegas, maybe. Look at this. Vegas, they play OpTic. Last game on Saturday, January the 13th. And then they play first game against FaZe the next day. So that's not, you know, it's not easy for them. But anyway, if you guys want to find when all your guys are playing their matches, then you can now do that. And actually, Seattle Surge put together a nice little graphic here of every single match they play of the entire season. So their first games are Thieves, Boston, OpTic, FaZe, Ultra, Miami, Minnesota. And look, 7 qualifier matches does mean you will get generally a more even spread. You won't get a set of 5 matches that look impossible, and you won't get a set of 5 matches that look really easy. Every single selection is going to be, you know, you're going to get easier ones and harder ones, but you look at every selection, you're going to play some great teams, and you're going to play a couple of pretty bad teams. I mean, you compare the runs that Surge have in Major 1, 2, 3, and 4, okay, probably some look easier than others. Like, let's say Major 2, they've got Subliners, Ravens, Ultra, Gorillas, Rocket Legion, Breach. That feels easier than average, but still, it's not exactly going to be a walk in the park. They're still playing some good teams in there. So that's pretty much what we have for the time being. So yeah, everything's confirmed now for the new season. If you guys want to get to the events, then take note of the respective dates and get everything ready to go, because yeah, things are now sorted. Few things that I'd have done differently. Slightly frustrated there's no control, and I think that if they bump things up a little bit more to get to, let's say, 120 points for first place at the major, that would have compensated more for the 7 online qualifiers that we have per stage. I'm not mad about more COD, but you know, it's just a little bit frustrating that we go back to 4 events rather than 5. But very much interested to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.